This is the perfect.
Yeah, of course, of course.
I believe this is the perfect time when we can sit down and go back and do our solid homework. Because always, pandemic has taught every single individual, not just in Nepal, but all around the world, that okay, let's take a step back and let's look at the things that we could do better. Let's look at the things that we could do when this pandemic is slightly controllable. Even today, till today, right now, we are still unsure. Tourists, I'm talking about my friend, tourists are still unsure if they need to go ahead and do a 7-day quarantine or not. In quarantine, it says that they need to do it for 7 days. We still don't have visa on arrival till today, right? Till today, I'm looking at September. Autumn season is right around the corner. Mid-September, it's going to start, and it's going to last till December. So we still till today don't have a fixed mandate on are we going to stay for 7 days or not? Because my friend, I've seen people who come and then they don't stay the quarantine. They're out like this. So who is monitoring them as well? What are we going to do with quarantine?
So the thing is, normally when we look from only the tourism perspective, these quarantine rules are not that good. But from when you talk about the health from the health ministry's perspective, then they are very much strict on that. So after the pandemic started, there were three major government bodies were coming up with three different type of decisions.
Okay.
Being in the tourism industry, being who is representing especially the private sector, I am always go with our ministry, especially the tourism ministry, always go with very liberal policies. We say let's try to make it much easier for the people to come. But there is a health ministry who say no, it gets spread. So 10-day quarantine for this scientific reason and that. And when the health ministry during the pandemic, if health ministry comes and says that this, then the health ministry is more stronger than even the home ministry or the tourism ministry. So government has to listen, because government is something like nobody want to take the responsibility if something goes wrong. So everybody want to say that to someone. So this is the time the health ministry is more stronger, and all the decisions about the quarantine, though we go with even yesterday also we come up with the very flexible, like okay, who got vaccinated, they don't have to stay in the quarantine. They just come back to, they come to Nepal, get their PCR test done, and they can go travel anywhere. This is what we are proposing. But I don't know what will be come out from the CCMC, where they are the representative from the home ministry, health ministry, tourism ministry, everywhere. But when it debate there, when we talk on these points, then we propose something, the decision comes completely different. So that is the problem there, and I don't want to blame any ministry at present, because if really it spreads, then they ask me a question: can you take the responsibility? It's a very difficult to say that yes, okay. So always so the health ministry is taking a responsibility to assure, and they are assuring the people that we will control this disease, and we are here for your safety. So at this time, even the home ministry is very much silent, and they are listening to the health ministry, and this is the situation. But looking at the first and second wave, now we have learned a lot during this, because after the first wave, we opened the whole industry, and we again after the second pandemic, now again we are in the we are trying to push the tourism industry first by promoting the domestic tourism, and then we are also working on the how to attract the international tourists. And what I'm really focusing from my side, from the tourism board side, is that this is the right time to approach the Indian market. This is what I am saying. It is because now for the Indian tourist also, I had a meeting with this Is My Trip, Thomas Cook, India, Make My Trip, and so on, the big outbound agencies, and they were saying that we don't have a destination to send people. We have only these Maldives and Dubai. We need more destination. If Nepal come up with the more flexible policies for the Indian tourist, they will just promote Nepal, because they need to do a business, and people really want to come to Nepal. So I said this is the right time to promote that. So for that we need also flexible policies for them as well, together with the other global other people. But this is the time that how many people you can bring from Europe or from America? Obviously, the number will be less. But people, if you go and properly do market in the India, people can come by their private cars, like in thousands of cars can come in a day. Now, if you look from the Nainital all the way to the Leh Ladakh, all the hill stations are occupied for coming 3 months. They don't have even a place to send the more tourists. So it's completely occupied. That's why. Maldives, fully packed. Now, they are looking for the destination where they can send. And that's why they want Nepal to come up with some, easy quarantine rules, and so we need to open. And now what happened that since the central government is not controlling everything, Khumbu come up with their own protocol. Every touristic area, if they come up with their own protocols, that is also little bit problematic, because you cannot give all the information at a time. So it should be a centrally disseminated information center, which the NTV can do, which we are proposing. And from here we will give the information that which area are already vaccinated. Like for the Khumbu, almost 98% people were vaccinated.
Manang Mustang,
Manang
100%.
Mustang is 100%. Not the 100%, but
Almost.
Along the trail, 100%. And if you look at this, the Langtang, 100%, if we say. So let's first open these high mountain areas and welcome the upcoming season. Okay, and we can come up with the clear concept that vaccinated people can come and can travel in this area. If we give this message immediately, this is going to give a kind of a boost to the tourism.
People are waiting for it. People are, Dhananjay sir, I know this for a fact that people, again, we have so many trekking and tours companies.
Yeah.
So many. You know this way better than me. So many. They're waiting. People in European countries, people in the West are literally waiting for Nepal to announce that we are open. It's just a matter of time how we are going to go ahead and do that. I just don't understand. We did stop visa on arrival, right? We stopped visa on arrival. That is something that we have to, I think, focus on right away. Quarantine, like you said, even when it comes to passage for safe entry as well, there are a lot of tourists who've put two different type of vaccines. Maybe some has put Pfizer, some has put Moderna, or individually they've put different as well. So what's going to happen with them as well? All these things, somebody has to take in chargeship. And त्यो भन्छ नि नेपालीमा मौकामा चौका जसले हान्यो त्यो अब्बल निस्किन्छ भनेर हैन अब एनटिभीले लिन्छ कि कसले लिन्छ त?
No, this is what I think, because it is directly related with the private sector and the tourists. So I think the NTB was formed specifically to take care of this, and we are very much ready for that. But there are some decisions we cannot take. We can just recommend the government to come up with these policies. For example, on arrival visa. I am the one who is pushing up for this for the last time, for last couple of months. Even after the last quarantine also, they didn't open that. Because we have our diplomatic missions only in 39 places, 39 countries. Otherwise, in rest of the countries, if people have to come to visit, it is quite difficult for them to come because if they don't get the on-arrival visa. So now we started to give a recommendation to those people who cannot get. And on our recommendation, they are getting on-arrival visa as well.
True.
We need to, instead of getting all these permission from the NTB, because we also need a number of papers, and what we have come up with the policy is like we make a compulsory to use a guide and an agent. It is because during the pandemic, if some FIT comes to Nepal, and if they are traveling in the mountain, if they got sick, then who is going to take care of them? Because at this time, even if you have a fever or cold, people first they think that it's a COVID and nobody comes close to you to take care of you. So we make a compulsory guide or the agency services for the people who want to travel to Nepal. So that we can give a better services in case of the problem, when they are in problem. So for that, we already requested that if these agencies come with the number of papers, then we can allow them to, and we will give a permission. So this is going on. But for the from last 3 months, that was also closed, but NTB, it was not written, they didn't give us don't do it, but actually we cannot do it, but I'm just doing it, because I know the problem of the private sector. I cannot run away for that.
People spend a lot of money. You know this, right? I know this. I can see it. Even though I'm just a part of...
So what I really want to focus is, let's say, we really come up with a very on-arrival visa is our first priority. Vaccinated people should be allowed to go anywhere without a quarantine. And people who come with and there are some people like the royal families, in some of the royal families, like Italian prince is coming to Nepal. But because they cannot take that vaccine, it is because of some government rules. So they are coming without the vaccinations. For them also, we need to keep open so that we coming up with the new saying that the 10-day compulsory quarantine, for them. So we are coming up with the new thing so that we can open to everyone. And at the same time, we have to give assurance to the traveler that you are traveling in a place where people are well known about the pandemic and they are taking major precautions for their safety. To giving that assurance is also very important. Because haphazardly opening, then people start to suspect, oh, only for the money they put us
in risk.
No, honestly.
So this is what it's a very critical, when when we talk, when we come on a table to take a decision, then number of views come, and we have to respect everyone's, vision. And so my concern is, one, the safety of that, and easy to travel to Nepal. This is the more
main thing here is, like, if you have clear health and safety protocols, everybody knows their own risk also at the same time. Because, maybe they are not flying overseas at these days, they are not coming overseas, but most of the Europeans already traveled inside EU already, or most of the Americans traveled inside America already. And these guys are also, as you said, one of the main thing here is, like, since all the neighborhoods is also mostly closed, and Nepal compared with them can be more open, because in Nepal you are not going to, main area is always with the nature, out areas. Even the, let's say, the cultural areas, the whatever you do also, from wellness to trekking, rafting, they are all in, let's say, open areas. So, as you said, the main critical point, maybe we need to a little bit
sell, maybe market.
What we need to, say, it will sell itself, honestly. We just need to show it. So the main thing here is, yes, vaccinated people living in mountain areas, that is important. But second thing is, now all these guys who traveled inside, everybody, human nature, we know the human nature. People like to travel because people now understood that they can explore the world by traveling. They can know more about other countries, other cultures with traveling. And traveling trend is really changing. And at this moment, Nepal has a really good point and good product from itself. So when people wants to sell, when you have the product, if you can make them meet each other at the correct point, I believe that this is the time for also promoting something. Because Thailand is not open, Vietnam is not open, Hong Kong is not open, China is not open, India is not open, but mostly East countries. But when you go to Spain is open, Greece is open, Turkey is open, Malta is open, that's open. So it means that people are already traveling there. So why don't we give them the correct product for overseas to start with?
This program